And we're not live. Good evening, Joe.
Good evening.
How are you?
I am fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm really good. You've had good talk tonight. Of course, we never do it on camera.
Yeah, because you don't want to.
There's one thing I wanted to say before we even got started. We already talked about it. Video or Liberty Cast 2. I have something I have to say about something I said on the show. I said that about felons. I said once they serve their time, they should not have to be punished the rest of their lives and basically get their freedoms back. Now, the other day I was watching Sanders talk about felons and the Boston bomber being able to vote. Now, guys, that's not what I was talking about. Of course, I don't believe a pedophile.
I think Sanders got that idea from you. He was watching.
Yeah, that's what
video,
it was.
And
That's what
he's like,
was.
you're like that Mike Fisher guy.
But
that's a great idea.
That's not what I meant. Well, let me explain myself and what I meant. Is that, of course, I wouldn't take a pedophile who's been a pedophile, let him free, and let him work in a preschool. Of course, I wouldn't. I don't believe that should happen. I don't think somebody that has killed somebody with a gun should get a gun. I don't think, but there are examples, and you brought up right after I had said that, like, okay, people are in prison for marijuana.
Yeah.
And
or like
a felony.
Yeah.
And then now we have politicians legalizing it. These people are in prison. They get out. It's legal, but they still have that felony. The rest of their life, they're carrying that with them. Another thing is like our soldiers overseas. You send them to Afghanistan or wherever we're fighting at the time, because we're always fighting somewhere. And he sees his buddies get blown up or shot, or sees anybody get killed. And you know, he gets drunk, and then he does something stupid, and he's dishonorably discharged from the military. Now he can't vote the rest of his life. I don't agree with that. Guys, I hope everybody understood what I was talking about. Half these crimes I'm talking about, I don't even think you should be put out of prison. If you heard my opinion, not Joe's.
Well, no, in my opinion as well, is that, you know, if it's not, you know, if you're embezzling, we go lock you in a cage, and we'll all pay for that. No. You should work for restitution, and put you in a cage. That's foolish.
And
you know,
and like you said, we're paying for it, and it comes.
We have like 5 times the incarceration rate of almost any country in the world.
But we're called the freest country in the world.
Yeah, we're not.
Yeah, we're not the freest.
This isn't the land of the free. It's the land of the incarcerated.
And it is, and then the people that should be in jail, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit, aren't in jail. But I did want to state that.
And yeah, the good point is that, you know, the founding fathers were for civil disability. No, not disability. Civil disobedience. Yeah.
They were for you to get, you know.
Yes, legs broken. Yeah. No. Disobedience.
See, when you're the one talking all the time, it's not that easy, is it? Benjamin Franklin said, and we talked about this before we went on the air, that better, and I'm going to get this quote totally wrong, but better 100 men go free than one innocent man be in prison.
Right. There you go.
And I don't believe everything deserves.
And Jefferson said that if a law is unjust, not as a man right to disobey, it's his obligation to do so.
Yep.
And that's what they wanted. And a good, for instances of that is when when Rosa Parks sat in the bus seat.
Exactly.
You know, anybody is foolish if they think she'd get out the bus seat and go home and elect somebody that would let her sit there, that was going to work.
And Was she a felon? Was that a felony?
I don't
Or a
know that, but
misdemeanor?
what
But
they
say
ended
it
up doing,
was.
though,
Say if
yeah.
it was. She wouldn't have the right to vote. She would not that they did.
And then you can't use your disobedience for that. And what they did eventually is there was I think was that in Alabama and
with the school.
Alabama to Mississippi. I don't remember which direction they were going, but it was illegal to take a bus from Alabama to Mississippi or the other way around. And what they did was they're like, okay, well, let's just all buy tickets. They would fill up a bus and they would take them to jail. And they would fill up a bus and they would take them to jail. The jail's full, and now what are you going to do?
Yeah.
We're still buying tickets,
Yeah.
and you got no place to put us.
And
Now you would say that all those people can't vote. That's
But I want everybody to understand my point is that I wasn't saying that the Boston bombers should be allowed. Like I said, half these crimes I don't think they should be out of jail. Majority of them, I believe in capital punishment, and this is personal. I have nothing about what Joe believes. This is my personal belief. I don't believe in the electric chair. I believe in the electric table. Put 10 of them sons of bitches on the table and fry them at once. So I'd rather pay the electric bill than feed them for 40 years. So that's my opinion. But here's the problem with that. There's so many innocent people going to jail anymore. Everybody in prison says I didn't do it. And DNA testing has proved how many people were convicted of crimes they didn't commit. So it's a very touchy subject, and I don't want what I said misportrayed.
and I was shocked with that when I was on jury duty, because what they did was there was a girl that was alleged shoplifting, and they put her in jail and bang, she bailed out. And you're innocent until proven guilty. So she was innocent at the time.
Yep.
Because she was not even gone to trial. State of Indiana said, well, you know what? If she was picked up for that, we should take her daughter away. And they went to her house, and they picked up her daughter, who was running a fever. I think it was like 104 degrees or something like that. She was sitting in the apartment with air conditioning, nice cool apartment with air conditioner, sitting there with her mommy, drinking water, eating popsicles, whatever. The I don't know what you call it, Child Protective Services or whatever their title is, shows up and they drag her away, and she's crying and mom's all upset and stuff. But no, because we think, and she was borderline. She had a low IQ, or she was borderline slow, I guess.
Okay.
She was fine, but they're like, right across the border, we're going to consider her handicapped. And there were two families in West Indiana that were authorized to take handicapped kids. So they put her in the home. They had no air conditioning.
Oh, no.
They put the little girl upstairs, and it was in 1995, I believe, when there was a big heat wave, and they're talking about 100 people died in Chicago or whatever.
Yeah.
It was right during that time. And they put her upstairs in a crib, hot in there, no air conditioning. The windows were literally nailed shut, and they closed the door, and the little girl sweated to death. She was small, and she lost like 8 or 10 pounds that she sweated out and died. And but what shocked me was they brought a paramedic in that was on the scene. It was a girl, and they had subpoenaed her like a couple nights before, and she was all panicking like and I don't know why. I couldn't understand, because as a jury, you're only allowed a certain amount of evidence.
Yeah.
And she was up there. She was visibly shaken, and she was crying and bawling her eyes out. And the judge, the attorneys are kind of beating her up. And the attorney for the girl, for the mother, said, "What were you doing when all this was going on. She said, well, the paramedics were up there with the other paramedics, and they had plenty of paramedics. And she said, so what I was doing was I was in the basement helping all the other children find their shoes because the lights down there didn't work. They had bunk beds down there full of handicapped children, and there was no lights. She said, I was helping them all. We couldn't find their shoes. I'm helping them find their shoes so we can get them out of the house because they wanted everybody out of the house because it was a crime scene or something. I'm like, what? So they were warehousing handicapped kids, and they were getting paid for each one of those childs. Each one of them children were a paycheck. But what shocked me was, and it's like, well, how many kids are there? Like, 10, 12, 14, I'm not sure. There was quite a bit of kids down there. And then the attorney for the defense came up there and was pretty bold, and he said, what would you do if I told you that we just had 2 state police officers sitting right there where you're sitting right now that swore that the only children in the house was the one that died and the family's other child? Those were the only 2 kids in the house, and these state police officers swore to that. And she was crying, and she's like, well, I guess I would have to agree with them. I'm thinking, what? How is that? I didn't get it,
She was afraid.
Yeah, she was afraid for her job. And apparently, the police officer didn't seem too afraid, but they had no problem saying, yeah, the only 2 kids there was their other child and this child here. There's only 2 kids in the house.
I noticed they were state.
How would you not know that she led 10 kids out of the basement, or they were down there looking for their shoes because the lights didn't work?
Wow.
And I was stunned at that.
So
if you can get 2 state cops to testify that on the stand,
yeah,
it's like I was saying about that bit I was saying about George Carlin. He goes, there's just a couple of rules I have. The first one is, believe nothing the government tells you.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of cases like that, and they're suppressed. People don't know about a lot of them and stuff like that.
What was rule number 2?
I don't know. But I was stunned, and you know what? I'm sure there are people who watch this and are like, I don't believe that. You know what? I would be one of those saying like,
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, right. Had I not sat there and watched it, I wouldn't believe it either.
Well, and I just want the people to know that when we say something or we misrepresent ourselves, we will correct ourselves. Yeah. We will, not to save our butts. I mean, some people will say, oh, he's only saying that because he's a conservative and he don't want to no. What I believe is what I believe. I misspoke. And the reason I'm doing this is because I watched it and I go, wow, man, that's not what I meant. I could put myself. But the other thing is I can be dead on something and you can still change my mind. Yeah. If you can come up with some good evidence the other direction, And there were a couple things that I said that I look back and I was like, well, I didn't quite mean that, It's a slippery slope. Especially when you're I remember when
you said you were a Ted Cruz guy, and I said, yeah, I was too. Well, honestly, I was a Gary Johnson guy. I voted for him, but I wanted Ted Cruz to win with the Republicans.
Yeah. Okay.
I would say he's probably the most closest to libertarian out of any of the other candidates, But
and we're gonna make. I mean, when your job is to sit here for hours and talk, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to say stuff and maybe misrepresent yourself.
I always make mistakes.
I do.
Yeah. I'm not perfect. I'm just way ahead of the guy in second place.
But that's all I want to say. And it's over and done. If you don't like what I said, oh well. I mean, that's what I meant. What I said just now. I didn't want to misrepresent myself. So. Now we're going to talk about a true lawbreaker. Yeah. Someone that probably the evidence against this person is so overwhelming. I do not know why this person is not imprisoned. Hillary Clinton. Ooh. Where do we go? She has just come out. Now, I would think that would be no surprise. I think that
You're
was
still in
long
the closet
ago.
on that one.
Yeah. But this woman just needs to shut up.
No, keep talking, please.
No, man, she's talking about how Trump broke the law. And that, he needs to be investigated. And is Trump going to go after her? Is somebody going to go back after her again?
Oh, I'm confident of that, yeah.
All right. Things that she has broke the law. Go.
Well, I mean, the whole...
All right, maybe not.
Well,
no, you weren't there.
Let me say this.
But has been brought up that she's broke the law. Go ahead.
Well, I would say the server and all that's all out there and stuff. But yeah, I think that's kind of like shadowing other stuff that's bigger in the background.
I agree.
But one of the things about the server though is she had special access. Special access program files on there. Special access program. When I was in, I had a confidential classification. That's nothing.
It don't mean anything.
It's very simple. That's. But in getting that classification, they threaten the hell out of you.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know if I want that. We're going to take you out and shoot you. Or, they didn't say that, but it's if not, and it's not just if somebody accidentally gets information that they shouldn't have because of you. You're responsible.
You heard about that seaman who took the picture of the submarine, and he went where? What happened to him?
Prison.
He went to prison.
Yeah.
Was that a lot less severe than what was leaked off of her server or her email?
She had pictures of like North Korean, nuclear test sites or something like that on there. But the biggest thing though was she had special access program files. Well, what I was going to say was when I had the clearance.
Yeah.
They had always said that, you heard top secrets, that's it, that's the top secret. But they said, well, there's one more above that, but you have to have top secret clearance to
know what that is.
Apparently that's special access program. We found that out because of Hillary. So now we know that one, but.
Now, let's clear this up. Hillary's not a stupid person. Is she?
No,
in your
I wouldn't
opinion.
say no.
She's an intelligent person. You don't get where she is. Well, then I got to go to George Bush Jr. So, which I don't think he's an idiot neither. I think
But I guarantee every comedian voted for him.
Oh, sure. But I don't think he's an idiot. Don't get me wrong.
I like the one where he says, there's a lot of single mothers out there just trying to put food on their family.
I think, but you know what? I watched some speeches that he gave when he was, the governor of Texas, and they were eloquent speeches. He didn't talk like a blithering idiot.
What happened?
I have no idea. And I guarantee if that shoe would have hit him in the head, he probably would have been really.
I think he was good at it with some comebacks and stuff.
But and I'm not saying that dude ain't a liar neither.
Yeah.
I'm saying Hillary Clinton isn't stupid. So when she says, "I didn't know them were classified," can you believe that for a minute? She didn't know what classified was.
Yeah.
You do believe that she didn't know?
No, I don't. But there was also that one, I don't know if it was an email or whatever that they had where they're complaining about their secure way of sending the stuff to her wasn't working. And so she should just cut the header off with the classification and just scan it and send it to me then.
Wow.
That was an email that between her and one of her aides or something. Just cut the top off, where it says classified, and send it.
Wow. Here's my thing. A guilty person doesn't smash up their iPhone, their iPad, their laptop with a hammer.
Right. Well,
if you don't,
after it's subpoenaed.
After it's subpoenaed. And then bleach wash it.
Bleach bit.
Beach, whatever.
Blah, 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 blah.
See, when you talk, you
yeah.
you don't do that if you're innocent. Right. If there's nothing to see, there's nothing to see. I mean,
which that's a crime there.
Yeah, exactly.
Evidence has been subpoenaed,
and you still get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To say, well, we'll go through it and we'll tell you what's good and not good. Yeah, of course, the stuff that I don't want you to see, that's nothing. Don't look there.
When you're before Congress, that's not a trial. It's in what is that called? Just is it a hearing? Is it called a hearing? Or is it
before
when you're before Congress?
Oh. I'm trying to think back to when I was before Congress.
No, I'm saying when you're questioned by Congress.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a innocent
hearing, I guess, yeah.
But it's not. You're not going to prison. Now, what you withhold from them or
if
don't
you lie,
withhold,
you can.
Yeah, for perjury, because you have to swear to tell the truth.
Unless you're a colder.
Yeah, then you can
just
make up shit as you go.
Well, I mean, you just not say and let you go.
Oh yeah. Well. You can. Seems like unless you're a Democrat, it don't matter what you say, you're going to be guilty. Well, you're guilty before you even go before anyone. So. And
I wouldn't stop at Democrats. I mean,
oh no,
it depends on the politician.
I'm talking.
Man, how much power you have, who, what you have on who, and how much money you swing around, and.
Here's the thing. If you had done what Hillary had done, shit, they're subpoenaing, they want all these emails, they want these devices, all my devices, and you went outside, you smashed them, you bleach bit them, you did it, all this, would you be in prison today?
Oh yeah. Just having the
documents.
No, just having the special access files was criminal. There's a reason they have a SCIF, a self-contained, secure, I don't know what it stands for. If we could look that up or something, but
SCIF.
Self-contained compartment, some information facility.
You know what it?
Yeah.
You don't know what it stands for, but you know what it is.
Right.
Okay.
And I knew what it was, and I just...
You blew it.
I blew it.
You blew it. You fissured
it. You're only supposed to view... And, that's a need-to-know thing, because what Special Access Program is... The Special Access Program is it's information on people that... people that are spying for us or something. The assets working out in the field and stuff like that. And it's stuff that will get them killed.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
If somebody gets that information, they're dead.
There it is.
So, sensitive compartmented information facility. But from what I understand is she wasn't even supposed to have that.
Oh, really?
It's a need to know thing.
And she didn't need to know.
She didn't need to know.
All right.
And the reason it's a need to know thing is because the more people, the more have it, the more likely it is to get in the wrong hands and stuff. And somebody's life depends on it. All
right. Now.
And Comey said, in his speech about all the things that she did wrong, but no prosecutor would prosecute her. There were several prosecutors that came out and said, "Oh, yeah, I would have." Yeah.
What do they have on these people that the Clintons seem to be untouchable?
And the thing of it is too is people say, "Well, it didn't show intent. You don't need intent." And the reason I say that is because if you have information, you got a folder and you leave it laying on the bar Or you're like in the movies. You go to the park bench, you set the thing down, you pick up the briefcase, you walk up. Well, I didn't intend for that guy to get it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
and it's your fault.
No, yeah, you intended. You're playing. You didn't intend it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how they always pass this stuff off. Like, you leave the file and you walk off with the briefcase full of cash or whatever. It's.
And if you didn't,
if all you have to do is say, well, you have to prove that I intended to leave that there.
You could get away. I didn't intend to kill her.
No, the thing is, you shouldn't have had that information out there
in the first place. Well, and she shouldn't have had it in the first place.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And I don't understand that. Another thing, Chris Stevens, Ambassador Chris Stevens. Everybody talks about the Benghazi thing. I don't think people understand why she was being questioned about the Benghazi. They just go, look at Benghazi. Yet they don't even know why we're looking at Benghazi. 4 Americans died.
Yeah.
Another thing that you don't do when you're not guilty is you don't make up a lie why something happened. That happened on the internet. That's because of a Muslim
and the thing of
it
is too is, well, a guy he made a video that enraged everybody, and they arrested that guy. We got freedom of speech and stuff. It's like, but they arrested him on something, and
yeah, it's crazy.
You know what?
And they said,
I need a fall guy. It's you.
And I believe they even said, the president or whatever of Libya or whatever he's considered, said, no, that's not what caused it. That wasn't it. But
just a coincidence it was on 911.
Yeah. And 9/11 happened on 9/11. And why lie about, they knew that it wasn't because of that. They just kept on going.
Told all those guys to stand down.
Stand down. What did Chris Stevens know that they didn't want to get out?
Or what he had?
Is it her fault that those Americans died?
I believe so.
Why?
And, there's a lot of speculation. You can see a lot of different things, a lot of different sites, and you get called conspiracy theorists and stuff,
Yeah.
But I saw a video where they're talking about he had some information on a laptop that they were supposed to take, and they were going to overrun, well, not a laptop, I think it was a server is what they said, and some other stuff, and they were supposed to take
so to say that,
but that
she didn't know that place wasn't secure,
but that didn't go through that didn't come from the Ministry of Truth. So if you believe that, you're a conspiracy theorist,
now see, I'm a big fan of Trey Gowdy.
Yeah.
Man, what a great representative. Well, was it for South Carolina?
Yeah.
A district in South Carolina? Just, man, he don't give a damn. He's looking for the truth. He don't care.
Yeah.
He don't cower down from the establishment, I felt.
And he's good at twisting the argument around and beating you with your own.
Oh, yeah. And you know what was really disappointing to me to hear him say is that he basically felt like he wasted 8 years of his life in Washington, D.C. because he felt like he accomplished nothing. Yeah. And I would like to tell him, no, dude, you gave me hope that there are good people in government.
Yeah.
And the other one is, was it Chavez? Is that his name? He does it.
Hugo Chavez?
No. What's his?
Chaffetz,
yeah. Great guy, man. He does Hannity, too, and all them other guys. covers now. Always taking it down that path.
Yeah, I know. I'm always at the edge of the gutter, just a little bump in the tree right down there. I had to grab the wheel and turn that one hard, but I made it to the gutter with that one.
Another great guy who I mean, great representative. I don't know him in his personal life. He could be an asshole. I don't know, but it gives you hope that, man, there are some good people that want to get the truth out.
But you'd think, though, when they were telling them guys, stand down. No, don't. That's a direct order. Get back out of there. Let them get attacked.
Let them die. And they straight up said,
after a couple times, they're like, please let us go. They're like, you know what? We're going. And they say, well,
and they lost their jobs.
For them to say, well, they didn't really have enough time to get there. They still made it there after they were told not to, and sat there for hours and hours and hours, and they just couldn't sit there anymore.
And still saved lives.
Yeah,
them are American heroes.
And I know one or two of those died. They went in there dying trying to save them.
Yeah. And them are American heroes. Them are the people that, that are heroes. They ain't these politicians in Washington, D.C.'s, And
apparently what I get from some of the conspiracy theorists is that they found out some of the reasons why, and they saved some of the information that was there.
I just look at these guys, and I mean, every one of them was ex-military.
You know what? I'm going to have to, when I watch these videos, and now that we're talking about this stuff, from now on, when I watch these videos, I'm going to have to make a note of it. And you can leave them in the comments down in the bottom, and people can click on them.
Yeah.
And say, that video that Joe was talking about?
Yeah.
It's right there. I can click on it.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. Make sure that way we're not just talking out our, blowing smoke to people.
So I'll see if I can find that, and when you upload this video, we can drop that in the comments.
All right. We like I was saying, these selfless men. They spent their lives serving other people. Not servicing, but serving other people.
Yeah,
you got to watch what you say.
I notice how people. They're like struggling for their words when they're in my presence, so it's like he's gonna twist me and beat me with that.
You make me watch what I say.
Yeah. So I make you watch what you say too.
But these guys, and some of these guys lost their jobs. I know that, like Tonto, he lost his job. I mean, they were working for.
And now he's selling sunglasses on.
Is he?
Did you see the commercials?
No.
For the I don't know what they're called. Special ops glasses. It's like.
More power to him.
Oh yeah. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, and
he deserves. He deserves to.
He deserves to not have to sell sunglasses.
Yes.
Yeah,
and I feel that way. Which will be a later show. We're going to talk about these disabled veterans that lose their homes and don't get the medical treatment that you know all about. That.
Oh yeah. I've been through the VA. It's.
And hopefully, what Trump's doing, and I have that AOC. I'll tell you what. Did you hear her last speech about if it's not broke, don't fix it? The VA.
Oh yeah,
she's saying that.
You remember when all the veterans in it was in Arizona, they were dying. They were on endless waiting lists. They were putting there because they were showing that the wait times were dropping, and they were getting paid bonuses for the speedy, and they're understaffed and overworked and blah 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 blah. At the same exact time in Palo Alto, California, they're spending millions of dollars on artwork. On art at the same exact time. We don't have enough money to run this. People are dying over here. We're spending millions on artwork.
And that shows you what they think. And not everyone in DC thinks.
And it's like it's such a bureaucracy that's like this. The old saying, the left hand don't know what the right one's doing.
It's a shame.
Those people might have been like, hey, you know what? If you're spending artwork over there, we could use them over here. But you're not paying attention to all the other.
We both know men.
And that should be a top-down thing there, It's
we both know men who gave their lives for the country, and you know what? I don't even. Sometimes I don't like to say gave their life for their country, because a lot of times we're not fighting for our country.
You find out what we're fighting for, and it's like, they're fighting for our freedom. Well, how did our freedom get in the Middle East?
Yeah. What they're fighting for is their brothers that are there, and and for their own lives. I mean, and it's a shame that they do what they're ordered to do.
Yeah, you're fighting on false information sometimes, and it's
and it's a shame that you come back after doing their dirty work, and you're treated the way that you're treated. We've seen it. We've both seen it. We both have had friends who died overseas, and it's a shame. And you look at Vietnam, and you see how them men were treated coming home, and they were doing what they were ordered to do. I mean, they were majority of them were drafted. They didn't have no intentions on going into the service.
Right.
They had no intentions of going to Vietnam, yet they were baby killers and spit upon for doing what their country asked them to do. Whether right or wrong, we're not even going to get into that, but the way they were treated, and really never even welcomed home. I mean, I know we had that welcoming a few years ago, but I always make it a priority to every vet. You can have, my kids have always seen me. If I see a guy with the veteran hat on, I will go up to him and tell him, thank you for your service. I'm sure you do the same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe pay for their meal, whatever. But
I had that.
Have you?
Yeah. I was at Louis here in LaPorte.
Yeah.
And the waitress said something. I looked at her funny, like, what? And I said, did you say? And she's like, no. And I do that all the time.
No, explain why.
Yeah. So
they got to know the story before you go here.
I have hearing problems.
Because of?
It was a grenade simulator, blew up in my face. And like I say, it was extreme camping.
Yeah,
it was peace time. Nobody was shooting at me. It was, war games, bang, bang. You're dead.
Yeah.
So it blew up my face and damaged my ears. And so today, since October 30th, 1985, I have loud ringing and noises and stuff in my ears. But also it damaged I have a vestibular disorder, which...
Oh, yeah.
Which messes which is,
equilibrium,
yeah.
Correct?
So it messes with my balance. So
you want to see something funny?
Yeah.
Ask Joe to do a somersault.
Yeah. Instantly, if I do a somersault, I'm sick to my stomach and I feel like I'm puking. Just like that from a somersault.
Wow.
But it's like, I didn't realize till this happened. Your balance is like a three-legged stool. You use your eyes and your postulate system, which is
your frame.
You can feel if your ankles are moving, if the floor is not level, you can feel that, and your equilibrium,
which is like a level.
Right. So if you take one of those legs away, you're balancing on two, and it takes you a while, but you get used to it. And I know somebody that had muscular dystrophy or somebody, whatever, where your nerves become non-malleable.
Yeah.
And basically, I guess they short circuit, but you lose sensation in your limbs and stuff. And she was getting vertigo. And I'm like, I didn't realize, but her equilibrium's fine, her sight's fine. That's the other leg. That's the other leg. So she can't. Your brain says, hey, I'm not sure because all three of these aren't matching up. One of them's wrong. I don't know what to do. Well, after a while, you learn to balance on two. So
right.
And I have been like jogging at night and it starts to get dark and the road's a little bit of a crown there, and I'm like. And I'm running off, knocking out little trees and stuff like it's like I didn't realize that. The road's leaning. I'm not leaning. So different things happen to me like that. But
I'm sure you could have been medically discharged from service at the time.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you kind of
Yeah.
faked it and covered it up, and
You do what you got to do. I mean, but
I'm not calling you a hero.
To go back to Louis though.
Go ahead.
And I was telling the waitress, because she's like, "Where do you get that from?" And I said, "Well, I have a hearing problem from the military," and I said, I misunderstand things all day long, So I got to make sure I hear what I hear. And sometimes it's like somebody says something completely bizarre. It's like, "Did you say this?" It's like, "Yes, I did." I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right." Yeah. But there was a guy I work with, and he said his neighbor has a 20-foot salmon in his yard. And I'm like, "What?" And I asked him, I said, "Well, did he catch that and have it stuffed or something?" And I don't know who it was, but
Go ahead.
I said, did he catch it and have it stuffed? And he goes, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "The 20-foot salmon in your neighbor's yard." And he says, "No, a 20-foot Santa." I'm like, "Oh, that makes a lot more sense now, So, and I was telling the waitress that, we're laughing and stuff, and there was a couple in the booth right next to us, and they laughed too. And I'm glad, I was, because I thought it was funny. The waitress thought it was funny, and I didn't feel like they were eavesdropping or nothing. They're over there laughing too. And I'm like, yeah. And I would say that sometimes I'll be like, "What did you say?" And people are like, no, wait. Please tell us what you thought they said first. They all want to crack up what I thought I heard. It's like, because I got some really good, interesting ones that I'm like, how did I get that out of that? So, and then I was getting ready to leave, and it was 1 year. It was a little over a year after my wife had left.
Yeah.
And it was actually my anniversary.
Oh, really?
And I'm sitting there eating breakfast by myself.
Oh.
And then when I was getting ready to leave, I was like, "Can I get the bill?" And they said, "There's no bill." I'm like, "What?" And they said, "That couple that was sitting right there, they paid the bill for you."
Oh, wow.
I'm like, "Oh, wow." They said they heard you talking about being a veteran and stuff, and they just paid the bill for you. And I was like, "Well, let me give you a tip." They said, "No, they tipped me too."
Oh, wow.
I'm like, "Wow," And, it was really nice. And I thought about that, it's probably $15, and every month I get a pretty good sized check from the VA from compensation for my injuries.
Yeah.
And I don't think nothing about it. They take money from everybody and they hand it to me. Government gives it to me.
Yeah.
They reached in their pocket
And
gave me, and that meant the $15 means more to me than that government check every month.
Then the government's stealing from everybody. Yeah.
Government takes money from everybody else and gives it to me, and I'm sure the government feels good. Yeah, we're giving you this,
Yeah.
But all the people, it's taken out of their check. The voluntary $15.
And that goes to
And I went home by myself, and I was thinking about that, and I cried. I was like, man, that meant something.
But you know what? I believe that American people, for the most part, are good,
I think so
caring people. And I made comments about progressives and liberals, and I made several comments also that I believe they're good people, and I believe what they want is to protect people and, their desires for the direction they want to take this country is to, because they care, like hate speech.
Right.
Well, we don't want people's feelings to get hurt. Well, I don't think anyone wants anybody's feelings to get hurt, but you can't take away free speech. It's a God-given right.
Well, like I was saying before, I think I shouldn't ban you saying something that's going to hurt somebody's feelings. I think you should hurt somebody's feelings, and then you should suffer the consequences. It's
exactly.
Because then you learn. It's like, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe that for the most part, Americans are caring people who I think what brings the most separation,
I think-
we could talk about race
people
too.
are carrying people.
People are carrying people.
Yes.
I
I think generally most people are good.
oh yeah, and I didn't mean to separate.
But it's like, and it was like somebody said, and I can't remember where that comes from, but they said in politics the worst rises to the top.
Yeah.
You know,
And you have to. What I don't like is when the American people just blindly follow, and just their sheep. Because I don't know if it's fear. One analogy you brought up, and I had comments about it, is where you took the front off your daughter's crib.
oh yeah, the size.
Yeah.
And I was shocked because I thought
She
she would
was
be running around the house.
But people are afraid of freedom.
Yeah.
And you said, I have to make up my own. I have to do this myself. And that's sad to me when I hear that. And it makes sense. It was a great analogy. It just upsets me that we become that
yeah.
so dependent.
No, put the side back up.
Yeah.
Because it's keep me protected. And, it's, fear, protecting you is the means that the government, it's the guys that the government will use to steal the fruits of your labor. Yeah.
And enslave you. No, this is for your own good.
Yeah.
This is
We're protecting you. You need me to protect you.
from yourself.
Right.
And
Now, but I got to take money from your check so
Yeah.
that I can protect you.
yeah,
You know?
I did check out your website, not yours, but the libertarian website, and where they said taxes are what is it? Oh man, I wish I don't remember what I said, so we'll cut this out, please. It was something to the effect where fines or something, and taxes are to, it's theft or something.
Well, if you think about it, income tax that's a fine. A fine is for doing bad. A tax is punishment for doing good.
Yeah, and here's the thing: how did the federal government work when it first started? How did the federal government obtain money
Well, different ways.
for the common good?
One thing I heard they had a lottery. One thing I've heard is, and it was like, you don't expect to win the lottery, but you know what? I feel I need to pay so they can run the.
So what it was is, and here's where I'm not familiar, and I'm not familiar with the Constitution and taxes.
I've heard as well, though, that George Washington put a tax on whiskey, I believe it was, and that was kind of a controversial thing. That say, wait a minute,
Well, I think it would be a controversial thing too, considering, because you look back in history and they go, America was built on alcohol, and they were such alcoholics. Yeah, because if you drank the water, you'd die.
Yeah.
So,
which is, I believe, is a way that why they start drinking alcohol. I mean, hundreds of years ago, or whatever, because you make beer or whatever, and it's like you kind of disinfect it.
yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, I'm no doctor or scientist, or but I suppose you could get bad alcohol too.
Oh yeah.
But if you fermented it, probably.
Well, when you
safer
do
than drinking the water, maybe.
when with like a distillery, you're boiling, and you're getting the condensation that is the alcohol, I believe, that burns off first.
Yeah.
So that's clean, right? I mean, I don't think that would have bacteria in it.
Well, I've heard that you could get something from like dirty copper or something like that. If the coppers is something, you can get sick from that. But
And go blind.
Yeah.
I've heard things about going blind.
Yeah.
No, but back to good people. I didn't mean like where we live, but in the United States,
Yeah.
I believe for the most part, people are good. The bad thing about goodness is that don't sell. That don't get ratings.
Yeah.
Bad stuff gets ratings, so you hear about that all the time.
Right.
Who gets the attention? The bad people. Why is there always copycats? Because that's the people getting the attention. I mean, to a crime.
Yeah.
That's one thing I respect about Ben Shapiro and his show. He refuses to say the name of the people that do these mass shootings. You don't want to give them no platform.
Right.
And I really respect that when everybody else is saying the name, and then, I can be famous, by doing bad things.
Right.
So here's the thing. Let's try getting famous by doing good. Make our name, it's harder to make yourself known by doing good than it is by doing bad, is what I'm saying. And that's, you look at George Washington and you said, he taxed whiskey. Well, that's a bad thing, but look at all the good George Washington did.
Yeah.
George Washington knew that he could become a tyrant. He knew he was capable of it. That's why he walked away.
From what I understand too, is that people wanted to make him king. And he's like, no.
Yeah.
And I've heard that, people are like, well, I'll believe the president will step down when I see it,
Do you believe most people desire a leader, like a monarchy, like someone to? Do you think people desire that?
Some people like to be controlled and dominated, right?
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Because I look at everywhere, and that's how it's always been. We have to have a king. Going back to the Bible, they said, God didn't want the Jews to have a king. Well, they weren't Jews yet, the Hebrews, to have a king. He said, no. They said, yeah, we need a king. We need a king. So they gave him a king because everybody else had a king.
Yeah, I think people do want to have somebody to look up to or whatever, or I believe it's kind of maybe ingrained in people. And it also, it's, the Democrat or Republican thing, it's like a team sport, which probably goes back to it's like a team kind of game, like it goes back to, when you had tribes or whatever, and it's well, it might be wrong, but we're sticking together,
Yeah. And that's what I respect about you, and I'm the same way, is that when my guy's wrong,
it's like,
I'm going to tell you my guy's wrong.
Yeah.
It may hurt to tell you, but I'm going to tell you when my guy's wrong, because he's not my guy.
Yeah.
If he's doing wrong,
right,
he's not my guy. He's not for me.
Right.
But when somebody does something good, I'm not going to bash him. And all right, well, let's take Trump. Look at the man. There's plenty to talk about.
Yes, reminds me of when they were in the debates and Rand Paul said something. He's like, I can say something about you. There's plenty of material there.
Because there's plenty to talk about.
Yeah.
Not everything he does is good. Not everything he does is bad. Why the passion to ridicule him all the time? Because my team don't like him.
I told somebody when, right after he got elected, I said, well, I don't know if he's going to be good or not, but I said, the Democrats are going to make Donald Trump a hero. Not just a national hero, but a world hero. And I'll tell you why. I said, because it's like a football game. There's no way that guy can catch the ball. None. No way. He can never do it. And boom, he catches the ball.
and caught it running.
Now, the whole opposite team jumps on his back, and he's carrying him down the field. And his team jumps on his back, and he's still running down the field. I don't care if you don't make a touchdown.
That's impressive.
He's a hero now.
Yeah,
you know?
he's
and imagine if he makes that touchdown. That's legendary.
What's the touchdown? What's the touchdown point?
I don't know.
When are we, as Americans, satisfied? Or as a conservative, as a libertarian?
You asking what satisfies me?
But you know, when is it where we can go, okay, we're good? Or is there never that point? Do we always have to be vigilant, correct?
And I think it's human nature to always push, which I think is good. You know, it's well, I'd be happy if I got just this much. Ooh, I made it. I'm nice. Some of you might stop. I want a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
and people say, well, that's greed, but you know,
isn't that part of the American way?
But if you bring people with you, you know.
Well, it's like, okay, old Bernie wants to punish the millionaires, even though he is one, and punish them, and you know, take money away from them. What about the poor?
The poor percent.
The poor, yeah, the poor percent.
What about the poor percent?
The thing is, ain't no poor guy giving me a job. Poor people don't employ people. Rich people employ people.
You know something else,
if there's
too?
more rich people, there's got to be more jobs. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And you could call that trickle-down economics, but it works.
People talk about income inequality. Now, not only is income inequality good, it's absolutely necessary for it to work. Because think of this. You give everybody in the country $1 million. Woohoo! That's great, right? So you're going to celebrate. You go down to the restaurant, you're going to have a feast. The waitress is a millionaire now. She's not going to wait on you. She's a millionaire. The cook ain't going to cook your food. He's a millionaire. You go to the grocery store, you're going to get some, well, I'll just get some beer and go home. And there's nobody there either because they're all millionaires. There's no millionaire going to wait on you.
Yeah.
So now what?
You have to be a billionaire.
Now, I still want to run my store. I got to pay somebody $15,000 an hour because they're all millionaires. It cannot work without income inequality. But the idea is to move up. Like we were talking about last time about me working for $2 an hour. I don't work for $2 an hour now. You know?
No, you don't.
No. So, without income inequality...
At this point, I will.
Yeah. So, without income inequality, it won't work. It won't.
Yeah. And I totally agree. We all have rights, but we don't have guarantees. I mean, I believe in this. I believe in this country that, and I've said it before, that if you want something bad enough, you can achieve it.
We all have rights, but sometimes we have to pay the government for permission to use those rights.
Yeah, but there's no guarantees.
Permit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's another thing I want to talk about is that free speech zone.
Yeah.
Wherever I'm standing is this free speech zone.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. But the thing is that why should I punish the business owner who took all the risk?
Yes.
Who took all the risk? As an employee, I took no risk. I went, he paid me for the work I did. Why should I be able to? And that's what socialism is. It's, we own the company. How do you do that how do you take away a company that somebody owns that took all the risk and share it with everyone else? How is that fair?
There's another Armory story I got there.
But hold on one second. Here's the thing, Joe.
Yeah.
Is that, and I don't. We talked about that we learn more from failure than we do success a lot of times. And we talked about you had a business that you tried, and the business...
I failed at several things.
And you failed.
Yeah.
Now, you had employees. Them employees didn't fail. They didn't assume all the debt you took on when you took that risk. When you gambled and you put all your money down on a number.
Yeah.
They didn't do that.
Right.
So when you failed, they just moved on, got another job, hopefully.
And I'm still recovering.
And you're still dealing with the risk you took.
Yeah.
So you would have succeeded.
Well,
so either way, you're going to punish.
But not only that, but sometimes I was like, well, I failed. Oops, I failed again. I failed again. So like your whole life, you fail on several things. Now, bang, you make it big. Well, now you have more money than you need. What about paying back all that other money that I lost over and over and over and over and over?
Yeah.
And the consequences, my marriage failed, a time I could have spent with my kids. I don't have those stories of going to Disney World.
That's irrelevant.
I could have put all that in the bank and,
and
not taking that risk.
And see, Joe and I have been the opposite most of our lives. We really have. Joe used to be very liberal. Wouldn't you call yourself?
Yeah, I would say I was.
Not the good liberal, progressive.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: my kids used to be jealous of Joe's kids. They get to go to Ireland. They're going to Ireland. They're going down to Texas. They're going, and I would say to them, but you see your dad. Joe works.
Yeah.
All the time.
Night and day. That's the only time they get to see their dad. Yeah.
There's a lot of give and take there. And I think, I believe through the years, we both learned things from each other. I think that's why we get along so well.
Yeah. I would rather learn from somebody else's mistakes than mine,
And I learned a lot from watching you.
Yeah.
Because, you've always been that nurturing guy, too, when you were around. No doubt. When I was, how my older children loved me, I'll never know, because I wasn't there. And it wasn't because I was at work. It's because I was too busy doing my own thing. So, when I say we all have failures, it's not always a business. It's not always, you can be a failure as a parent, and I've had
the price you have to pay is not always money.
And I wish it was money.
Yeah.
Because then I can't go back.
Right.
Money I can recover. The time I missed with my kids, I can never recover. And I've learned a ton about how to show. Not that I didn't love my kids, because I always loved my kids. How to show it. And I really appreciate you as a person, and I don't want to get all mushy on this, but you did teach me a lot. I mean, there was other people too, but you're one of them. And I think you've taught my children, because our income, we're way different as far as income, but we're still, we're the same. I mean,
but and I saw,
and we probably shouldn't be friends in the world's eyes. I don't think we should.
You go to like India, it's like you're the guy that washes the clothes and beats them out on the rock, and I'm the guy that
makes me.
I'm the guy that bakes. Right, I own the shop or something. So we're different classes, and you're the untouchable. Is what their lower class is called, the untouchables. If I touch you, I'm contaminated. That's how bad their low class is.
But we are in a different class. I hate saying that because
But it's like I say too. It's relative.
We're people.
It's relative.
We're people
if
that
you
enjoy.
compare us we make the same thing. I was watching, there was a video a guy did. He's going, "No, look at this," and he's showing this is now these people that are fighting. Well, we should tax those guys, and he showed like a million, then like 10 million, and it was like all on a scale of an inch. He's like, okay, this is the $50,000 guy. It's like the lines are so close. He goes, "Now watch this," and he stands up with the camera and he walks and walks and walks and walks. The people way down on the other end of that strip of paper, and you can't even see it by then. The ones that are fighting, saying we should tax them or we should take more money from them, we should hand. Yeah, they're over there. The billionaire is here.
Yeah.
You can't even see those people from here.
Yeah.
And those billionaires, it's like they're not fussing about that. And they're the ones that are saying, "Oh yeah, we should have higher taxes for you guys."
Yeah.
Because they have ways around it,
And we hear people talking about the 1%, the 1%. We covered this in another
Bernie Sanders.
show. Yeah. But there's more than just him saying it.
I know. No, I'm saying he's in the 1%.
Yeah, but the thing is
he's the people he was.
Even with our separation in income, we're both the 1% in the world. When you
put
the world
and that's another perspective. So once I say it's relative, okay, now you compare that compare us to those other people.
Now
we're probably at the other end of that strip of paper.
Yeah.
And it's like, them people, they got nothing. They're at the end, it's.
And that's how we.
When you say, "Oh yeah, the 1%ers, we should take money from the 1%ers." Yeah, well, if you talk about the globe, you're just talking about the area where you're not in the 1%.
Yeah.
You talk about the entire globe. Yeah, we're in the 1%.
And like we were talking before we turned on the camera, we're blessed just to be born here. Whether you're poor or rich, if you're born in the United States, you were blessed to be born. You were very lucky to be born here. Because go somewhere else. Go to another nation. Go to name the country. It's just you have it good. Now it's not perfect. It's not. It could be better.
So I wonder if people in other countries say, we were blessed to be born here. We could have been born in the U.S.
No, but
you're right.
I believe with all its imperfections, we live in the greatest. I believe we live in the greatest country that's ever been.
I remember watching it was like a little short video thing, and it was a bar graph of the GDP of our country, and as the time went by in the video it was from like back in the 1900s or whatever to now, and it was like the U.S. was out here, then another country would be like, "Woo, we're like, oh, we're about a quarter of the way of our GDP," then it would kind of fade off, another one would pop up there, and it's like we were way out front the entire time. I was like, Japan would be like, "Oh, they're second now. They're about a quarter of what we make. Another dropping off now. China jumps up in there, and it's
we're to go back to comparing not just nations but people and the income. When I was growing up, I had family members that and my family, when my father was alive, when I was younger, made great money. His bonus back in like 1981, his just bonus for the year was like $50,000, which was, big money. He wasn't rich. We weren't, like millionaires.
Yeah, back then that was big. That was a lot more than compared to $50,000 now.
So he was vice president of Skyline Foods, which no longer exists anymore. Go figure. But
back then, a new car was probably $8,000.
Yeah. So it was a good chunk of change. Where my family, he worked out of a bakery, and I guess he wasn't president of vice president of Scotland Foods. He was vice president of that bakery. All right. Well, my family worked for the bakery as just laborers. Well, I was always considered the spoiled kid growing up. Well, because I had things. And they didn't have what I had. Growing up. And it makes you feel bad as a kid when they're saying, "Oh, you're spoiled, you have all this." But what kind of parent would my dad have been if his bonus was more than what my family's parents made in the entire year if I didn't have more?
Yeah.
Do you I don't see that as their parents. If their parents had the opportunity or made the money that my father had, they would have had that stuff. Now, I'm sorry that made them feel bad growing up, but now I have a different perspective on it. My dad started out working as a laborer in the bakery. My dad worked his butt off and did what he had to do to get to that position. Were you willing to do that? And I'm not asking my family that. I'm asking anybody.
Just not be willing to do that and wait till he gets there and then just tax that all away from him.
Yeah,
so we can share it amongst ourselves.
But it took sacrifice. You know, he worked a lot. Like you said, you worked for $2 an hour until you proved what you were really worth.
At the time, I really didn't need the $2 an hour.
Exactly.
As a kid, even before I was a teenager, I would mow lawns, and I'd carry a toolbox around. I'd do brake jobs, I'd do oil changes and stuff like that. And when I was 12, I changed a lady's transmission for $50.
Wow.
And then I did a couple. Guy changes cam lifters, 13, 14 years old, and started getting jobs like that. And I saved money. I just kept putting in the bank. When I was 12, I'd saved up $1,000, and I was so proud of that. And that was it was like 1979. $1,000 was quite a bit.
You're old.
Yeah. So yeah, I just exposed myself.
In the 1900s.
Yeah.
Wow.
So. I didn't need the $2 an hour. What I needed was the
experience,
and I needed the past. I needed to show that I have done that. I can do that.
That you're employable.
That I'm employable. That I'm valuable.
Well, you are valuable, Joe.
Yes.
You are very valuable.
So I put up with that. I didn't really need the money, but then once I did that, now I could say, look, I worked here for this much. And when I was going somewhere else, no, actually I think I just worked for the summer, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna quit. I'm just gonna go back to high school, and I was 16 at the time, and they're like, well, we'll pay you $3 an hour. Whoa. Well, no, I really don't need the money.
To condense this all down today, while we've talked about other than Hillary being a crook and a thief, and me explaining what I said and I didn't mean, or people taking me out of.
The Hillary thing it's still going on.
Oh yeah, it's not over.
I saw there was a meme. It said about all this stuff. The Hillary hasn't been indicted for anything yet. Or there's no indictments for it. I think there is. There was they indicted the guy that owned the transportation company that transported it. It was they unsealed 11-count indictment.
I'm going to tell you what, she needs to keep her mouth shut because she pisses off Trump.
Well.
I'm sorry, not Trump, but the wrong people.
I think they're still investigating. They're just not leaking information about it. It's like I say.
I find it hard to believe the government ain't leaking information.
Well, I think the government is kind of split into two factions that are right now. They have the Patriots versus the Deep State.
Yeah. But to my point, to the closing point, and you tell me if you disagree, I think a lot that would change the country as far as us, we the people, is if we would start celebrating the achievement of people and stop envying and being jealous of people's achievements. I don't think there's anything wrong with desiring, oh, I want to be like Joe and to work my way up to where Joe is. Or I want to be like Bob and working my way up to where Bob is. I don't think the answer is to take from Bob to get me to where Bob is. I think we should celebrate Bob. We should celebrate those who achieve, be happy for them, and maybe go up to him and go, how did you get here? Could you mentor?
I was watching Bono from YouTube, and I think it was on Jay Leno, I think it was, and he was talking about it. And there's a difference between here and Ireland. He says, in America, it's you see that guy in that mansion up on the hill? One day, I'm going to be that guy. He said in Ireland, it's like, you see that guy up on the hill in that big house up there? One day I'm going to get that motherfucker. It's like, I thought that was funny that he said that.
I find the older we get, the older I get, and the more time that goes on, and I don't know if it's because of how we're in the direction we're going as a nation, the less, dude, it's a great time to be alive. With technology, with everything that's going on. Everybody's so unhappy. Everybody's complaining about everybody else.
People always talk about, well, back in the good old days. I don't think the good old days are here yet.
No, and the thing
I'm looking forward to the good old days.
Why can't we celebrate what people do?
Yeah.
Celebrate their achievements, whether they're Democrat, Republican, whatever. I mean, if they do it honestly, it's like when Alex Baumgartner or whatever went up in that Red Bull thing.
Oh, yeah.
And jumped, parachuted.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm sure there is people out there going, that son of a bitch.
No,
well, first of all, the show's a round earth, and I know the earth ain't round. You know what I'm saying? Which is a totally different show. But
everybody's critical.
Of everything. And why can't we just... I mean, we can't agree.
It's like I heard about the people that talk about the lobsters in the pot, and it's like the one lobster's trying to get out, and people keep pulling them down, and they'll never get out of the pot because the ones just keep dragging them back down in there.
I think we just got to realize as a people that people are great.
Yeah.
People are awesome. There's a few bad eggs that ruin it for everybody. But if you look at not just Americans, not just the United States, but you look at the greatness that's in the world, that's people. I mean, look at everything there is, your iPad, somebody came up with that. Mm-hmm. Somebody thought of that. That's amazing. That didn't create itself.
It's cumulative knowledge.
And people are awesome. And when you bring people together for a common goal, I believe that if we could come together, now granted, I know we can't agree on what to have for lunch.
Right.
But if we could get people united into one goal, what we could achieve, I don't even think we can imagine what we could achieve.
Which, I think is why we're divided, and they poke this side with this and they poke that side with that, and they get us fighting back and forth. And you ever watch that?
I believe that's the government's role right now.
There was a movie, A Bug's Life. It was a cartoon.
Yeah.
And the grasshoppers were tyrants, and they ruled over the ants, and they made them pick their food and stuff. And it was a speech, where the main grasshopper, Hopper, and he says, those ants outnumbers 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
Yeah. And With that being said,
we outnumber the government probably 2 to 1. You know, for every politician, for every bureaucrat, for every office holder, for every person getting paid, but there are 2 other people.
So don't tell us how big we are.
Yeah.
All right, with that being said, hey guys, thanks for watching. Hey, do me a favor and subscribe. Also hit that like button. Hey, and also, if you would hit the notification bell, that'll let you know when we upload a video. So we'll see you next time, guys. Bye.